What if I told you there is a legal document from 1866 that clearly states all freedmen and all free colored persons residing in the nation at the commencement of the rebellion, the Civil War, shall have the rights of native Cherokees? It's not an opinion, it's not an interpretation. That is the 1866 Cherokee Treaty, Article 9, recorded in the U.S. statutes at large. After the Civil War, the United States forced new treaties on indigenous nations. The Cherokee had to abolish slavery, but more than that, they had to define citizenship. So in 1866, they signed a treaty that would shape identity battles for over 150 years. And the language is clear, not partial, not temporary, but all rights, meaning all rights. And here's what most people miss. This didn't just apply to people who were enslaved. It also included free people who were already living inside the Cherokee Nation before the Civil War. Meaning citizenship wasn't just about blood, it was about presence, community, and political belonging. Now, listen to the people who actually lived it. During the Dawes Commission interviews in the late 1800s, Cherokee freedmen testified, "We live," quote, "we lived in the nation before the war. We were Cherokee citizens by treaty," end quote. These were not outsiders trying to claim something they didn't have. These were families who had already been living there, working the land, raising children, building lives inside the Cherokee Nation. Another testimony describes people who farmed Cherokee land, paid taxes, and participated in the community, and still said, quote, "We claim our rights under the Treaty of 1866, end quote. That's a lived experience, recorded in their own words. Even federal observers confirmed it. Bureau of Indian Affairs reports from that time state that freedmen were residing among the Cherokees and recognized under treaty speculations. So this is my opinion. When they say freedmen were living among the Cherokee, those freedmen were probably Cherokee. That was probably their family. Because a lot of people still aren't making the connection. The so-called black people of that era were more than likely Indian. Not Africans, they were Indian. I digress. Let's continue. So this wasn't hidden. It was misunderstood. It was documented by the people and by the government. But then something changed. When the U.S. introduced the Dawes rolls, people were suddenly divided into categories: Cherokee by blood and freedmen. That separation does not exist in Article 9, and the treaty said equal rights. The system created division. So the real question isn't what the treaty says, because the treaty is very clear. The real question is why something that said all rights was later interpreted to mean something less. This is not new for the Americas. They didn't stand by any of the treaties they signed with the indigenous. So this was just another way to create that division and continue to erase the so-called Black indigenous people. So once you read the original document, you realize there was never any confusion. It was interpretation. And what changed was everything. If you care about the truth, identity, and real history, start with the primary sources, because the paperwork never lies. It's how it gets used that changes everything. The more you know.